WNBA Finals, and so I'll leave it there. I mean, I'm just obviously disheartened. I'm a human too. I have a family. I have 2 kids who are devastated by these comments, and so all I'll say is just, it's obviously been
Something unprecedented is unfolding in professional basketball. And for once, the tension isn't coming from the court, it's coming from the boardroom. When reports emerged that Caitlin Clark was prepared to reject, or at least strategically delay, a deal rumored to approach $20 million, the entire conversation flipped overnight. This was never just about a contract. It signaled a dramatic shift in power that reportedly rattled the WNBA's leadership and its top decision-makers. For decades, the league maintained leverage through limited salaries, pushing elite players into non-stop seasons overseas just to stay financially secure, a system that quietly kept the wheels turning. Then Clark arrived and did the unthinkable, allegedly passing on a figure that would define a career for almost anyone else, instantly redefining what a rookie is allowed to demand. This isn't about cash, it's about control. Insiders suggest the league is now scrambling, realizing too late that Caitlin Clark isn't for sale. She already commands a major brand presence, massive public support, and the confidence to say no. And for a commissioner who secured a multi-billion-dollar media rights deal largely fueled by Clark's star power, that single word lands like a shockwave. To grasp why this moment has triggered such unrest, you have to look beyond the number itself and understand why walking away from it threatens the very structure the league has relied on for years. To truly understand how seismic this move is, you have to examine the offer itself. While the exact numbers swirl through speculation, the deal centered on the new unrivaled 3-on-3 league founded by WNBA stars Breanna Stewart and Nafisa Collier, and this was no ordinary participation contract. The proposal was widely described as Lionel Messi level, industry shorthand for equity, revenue sharing, and a financial structure that would eclipse anything women's basketball has ever seen, potentially generating $10 to $20 million in long-term value when paired with marketing power. Unrivaled was built to keep elite players stateside during the off-season, paying them enough to avoid risky overseas stints. But for that vision to work, they needed one thing above all else: Caitlin Clark. Without her, it's another showcase of talent. With her, it becomes a global engine. Insiders say she was offered nearly everything imaginable, with expectations of a swift signature, because who walks away from ownership and upside? When Clark's camp didn't rush to commit, the silence that followed sent shockwaves through the sport. By simply not saying yes, she removed the league's most valuable marketing pillar and demonstrated that her time outweighs any immediate payout. Unrivaled needs her credibility to land major media and sponsorship deals, yet her hesitation made one truth clear: her brand stands on its own. She doesn't need a startup league to remain relevant. The startup league needs her to exist. And that realization explains why league executives elsewhere are reportedly on edge. Because in today's sports ecosystem, no decision happens in isolation. The WNBA just locked in a historic $2.2 billion media rights deal over 11 years, a staggering leap from anything the league has ever seen. And let's be honest about what fueled that valuation: the Caitlin Clark effect. Networks paid a premium because they expect number 22 to dominate their screens year-round, not just during the regular season. If Clark opts out of off-season play, or even signals a desire to slow down and manage her workload, the league's growth model starts to wobble. Their strategy depends on constant visibility, on Clark staying in the spotlight 12 months a year. Because if she steps away to rest and reset, the momentum cools fast. That's where the frustration inside league offices comes from: loss of control. The system is built around players chasing exposure, but Clark operates from a position of abundance and understands that scarcity drives demand. We saw the impact during the Olympic break. When interest dipped the moment she wasn't on the floor. If her off-season becomes private training and recovery, the league loses its most powerful promotional engine, and the commissioner knows broadcast partners like ESPN, Amazon, and NBC expect returns. Reduced visibility may benefit Clark's longevity, but it challenges a business model built on non-stop content. What makes this dynamic even more uncomfortable for executives is the financial reality. Clark reportedly signed an 8-year Nike deal worth $28 million, complete with a signature shoe and performance incentives that could push the value even higher. That single agreement outpaces what many players earn over an entire career, instantly changing the balance of power. Most rookies enter the league dependent on every contract and appearance, but Clark arrived as the head of her own enterprise. Her WNBA salary is symbolic in comparison, meaning money is no longer leverage. Incentives, bonuses, and pressure tactics don't carry weight when financial security is already locked in. That independence is what unsettles the establishment, because when compensation no longer dictates decisions, control disappears. Clark now chooses based on preference, not necessity, and all signs suggest she intends to operate on her own terms rather than be confined by the system. But there's a deeper, more personal motive behind Clark's hesitation to play year-round, and it traces back to how punishing her rookie season really was. This wasn't just a learning curve. It was a relentless physical test, marked by repeated hard contact and aggressive defensive treatment that often crossed into unnecessary territory. From high-profile collisions to sustained rough play from veteran opponents, Clark absorbed more punishment than most, while fans and analysts openly questioned why the league didn't step in to protect its most valuable draw. Instead, leadership largely framed it as a rite of passage, declining to impose meaningful discipline for questionable actions, and in doing so sent a clear message: manage it yourself. So why would Clark volunteer for more of the same in an off-season league, potentially facing the very players who made her first year so taxing? By declining these offers, she's choosing preservation over pressure, giving her body time to recover after logging heavy minutes and constant contact. It's a quiet but pointed response to a system that failed to shield her, signaling that if protection won't come from the league, it will come from her own decisions. That choice is already rippling through locker rooms, stirring complicated emotions. Imagine established veterans, former MVPs and champions, who spent years carrying the league without ever seeing anything close to seven-figure paydays, now watching a rookie calmly walk away from massive money. It breeds a tense mix of admiration and frustration. Some may view her decision, especially with peers tied to the new league's success, as a lack of collective buy-in, because her absence affects everyone's earning potential. By stepping back, Clark isn't just prioritizing herself. She's unintentionally reshaping the financial and emotional dynamics of the entire ecosystem, and that reality is making an already volatile situation even more combustible. This only deepens the tension around the on-court product and exposes a brutal cycle. Veterans bristled at the attention Clark received. Clark now distances herself from their ventures because of the treatment she endured. That absence costs others money, and the resentment compounds. League leadership can see the volatility building and understands it's a looming threat to the WNBA's image. That's where an unsettling idea enters the picture: quiet quitting. In the corporate world, it means doing exactly what's required and nothing more, and Clark appears to be applying that same discipline to professional basketball. She shows up, performs at an elite level, fulfills her mandatory media duties, and then disengages. By declining extra leagues, extended roles, and non-stop promotion, she's drawing a firm boundary, and that terrifies a league built on players acting as full-time ambassadors due to limited marketing resources. Clark doesn't need to sell the product, she is the product. This restraint becomes a calculated power move, forcing the league to meet her where she stands. If they want more access, more visibility, more commitment, they'll need to offer more than money. Better travel, stronger security, improved officiating, real structural support. Her absence becomes leverage. The unrivaled situation captures this perfectly. A league created to solve the off-season problem, backed by investors, who almost certainly assumed Clark would be its centerpiece. Her refusal doesn't just decline an offer, it destabilizes the league's perceived value and leaves its founders facing launch day without the sport's biggest draw. A sobering moment for an establishment that assumed compliance. It also underscores a deeper divide between the old guard and the new era Clark represents. She isn't from their inner circle, doesn't follow their pathway, and refuses to be folded into a controlled narrative. That independence makes her unpredictable, and unpredictability is exactly what the WNBA struggles to manage. All of this unfolds against the backdrop of recent leadership missteps, including public comments that failed to firmly support Clark amid intense backlash, further eroding trust. When your organization hesitates to defend its most valuable player, it shouldn't be surprised when that player decides to protect herself, set limits, and refuse to play along with a system that no longer feels safe or aligned with her interests. That moment shattered the trust, and once that line was crossed, there was no reason for Clark to do the commissioner any favors. Why sign deals that enrich league partners when the league's top leader treats her like a replaceable part in a revenue engine? Turning down a deal rumored near $20 million reads less like stubbornness and more like a vote of no confidence in leadership that prioritizes expansion over protection. Clark is taking control of her own career because it's become clear the system won't do it for her. Critics will argue she should cash in while the spotlight is blazing, but her camp understands what the WNBA seems to ignore. Burnout is real, and history is full of young stars who were run into the ground chasing short-term gains. By choosing rest over immediate money, Clark is betting on longevity, aiming for a decade-plus career instead of a brief peak. After 18 straight months of high-intensity basketball, her body and mind need recovery, not another grind. The league's anger is rooted in impatience. They want maximum output now, while Clark is playing the long game, knowing one unnecessary injury could derail everything she's built. So here we are, executives frustrated, veterans uneasy, investors anxious, and Caitlin Clark unmoved. This standoff isn't noise. It's the defining power struggle of the offseason. It proves the era of the WNBA player as a disposable piece is over. And if the league wants to fix this, money won't solve it, culture will. That means confronting the unchecked physical play, fixing travel and infrastructure, and cleaning up the media environment instead of pretending it's all good for business. Caitlin Clark doesn't need to be treated like a product. She needs to be treated like a partner. And until that happens, she has every reason to stay home, train privately, and protect her future. Turning down a deal rumored near $20 million isn't a conclusion. It's an opening move in a new era where elite talent holds the leverage. A reality that's deeply unsettling for a league conditioned to control the narrative for decades. The uncomfortable truth is this: the WNBA wasn't ready for Caitlin Clark, wasn't ready for the spotlight, the backlash, or a rookie who doesn't depend on league money to survive. Leadership can be angry, call meetings, reassure sponsors, and worry about projections, but they can't force a signature. For the first time, the league's biggest star is bigger than the system itself, and Clark revealed it simply by refusing to move. By walking away from massive money, she secured something far more valuable: independence. And that's what truly rattles the league, because a player you can't buy is a player you can't control. And now everyone is watching to see what she does next, whether leadership is comfortable with it or not.